the climate crisis is also a health crisis. Every year, more than 7 million people die due to issues and sickness related to air pollution.
I'm worried about climate change for my future because with the current situation, it will almost be impossible for us to survive.
I have stood on the roof of a house and seen the glow of a fire coming towards it. And then just a few months later, I stood in a building for almost exactly the opposite reason, trying to help family and friends move before the river rose again for the second time.
What our people in the local community, our community face, for example, refugee community, people living along flooded areas, for example, along the river bank, which makes these children living under fear. So they need protection.
If you're not in a safe environment, like you were displaced up to that roadside and there was no access to read books, and by that time also I performed very poorly because I was not having access. You just be thinking, when will the river reduce its size so that we go back to our place?
Each day, each month, each year, it gets even worse. And I think people need to wake up and take action in fighting climate change.
I'm also hopeful. I'm hopeful because I know us from different places and backgrounds are gonna change things. Young indigenous communities, young black communities, and young migrants and refugees such as myself. I know we have the power to shape the narrative.
So I think it's very important that governments, municipalities and companies give more attention to cycling for kids, because I don't want to see in 20 years a generation of kids that has grown up without the bike.
My city's biggest challenge is the mushrooming informal settlement camps. People in these settlements feel unsafe during rainy seasons most especially. I also call upon our leaders to build climate-resilient infrastructures in informal settlements to mitigate the impacts of climate change.
I really want to see our voice be taken to COP where politicians will actually be listening.
Зүгээр өөрийнхөө ойлгосон энгийн үгээр тайлбарлах юм бол оролцоо бидний эрх бидэнд олгоцсон маш том боломж юм байна гэж би ойлгосон.
A city that works for me is a city that puts its people first before economic development, and one that develops towards a sustainable future for all.
When I think of a city that works for me, it's a city that has clean air, a city that is worried about us, young leaders, teenagers and children, that we can have the proper space for us to develop, for us to create, for us to dream. For that to happen, we need clean air, but I know we can make it together.